Hi, and welcome to Build TV. I'm Jeff Lancashire, and in this segment we'll focus on making your floor plans as efficient and marketable as possible. With land at a premium and lot sizes shrinking, as well as demographic changes afoot, the need for efficient yet comfortable lifestyle-minded floor planning is essential. So, if you want to hit the sweet spot with today's buyers, it's time to re-examine your plans and think about some new ones. To do that, we've invited an expert to provide some real-world and proven tips. This is Sandy Fennell, Senior Designer and Associate at Devereaux & Associates in McLean, Virginia, one of the leading housing design firms in the country. Sandy, what are some of the basics of maximizing floor plan efficiency?
Well, Jeff, in order to maximize floor plan efficiency, you need to make the most out of each space or room on that floor plan. And to do that, you need to start thinking in terms of multiple functions for each space. This way, you start gaining the most out of each square foot in the home.
If you had to point to one thing on most floor plans that builders should look at and refine to make their plans more efficient,
they need to eliminate wasted corridor and transition spaces on the floor plans. They also need to look at better ways to connect one room to the next. Once you start doing that, the rooms start unfolding to each other, you create a feeling of spaciousness, and you gain maximum usage.
You also mentioned multi-use spaces. How does that relate to creating a more efficient floor plan?
Well, builders just need to start thinking differently about how the floor plans are laid out. Once they start thinking of rooms as not being separate venues and each room having its own function, but rooms having multiple functions and opening onto each other, they will gain more flexibility within each space.
Examples of what Sandy's talking about are slowly but surely making their way into housing's mainstream, as design professionals and builders become more willing to create floor plans that are not only smart, but marketable to particular lifestyle needs. Sandy, we've talked about some concepts. Well, let's see them in action. What have you got here?
Well, Jeff, what I brought today is two distinctly different plans, and the reason being so that you can see how these theories that we've just been talking about can apply whether it's a single-family home that you're building or a condominium. Unit C is an active adult home. It's probably in about the range of 1,800 to 2,200 square feet. So when you start looking at this foyer, you will notice that we've grouped the social spaces, which are the family, the dining room, and the kitchen on one side of the foyer. And then on the other side of the foyer, we've grouped the living room, the den, and the master suite together. You've got tons of flexibility in this area. That den can become a sitting room by using those French doors off of the master bedroom. It can also serve as a study or home office. And as you can see, the powder room off of the foyer can be expanded into a full bath so that can become a guest suite. The living room itself, some people these days do not want the formal living room in their house. They'd rather live in the great room area that's open in the rear of the house. So that gives you the option of creating that living room and closing it off into a more formal dining room space. Since this is an active adult home, the upstairs spaces are pretty limited, but they still like to see a loft and an additional bedroom upstairs, as well as an abundance of storage, which is much coveted space to this age group. Now, the loft can be a transition area as a hobby room, an additional quiet study area or home office, and the bedroom can become a fitness area or even an extra guest suite.
That's great, Sandy. What else have you got?
Well, what we have here is a condominium floor plan that's actually part of a large building in a very urban setting in downtown historic Fairfax, Virginia. And what we'll do now is just focus on this corner unit. And as you can see when you walk in to the foyer, that large arrow is pointing to the view vista that you get when you come into that front door. It's showing you that the spaces in front of you open up into the dining room and living room areas, and making these areas, even though they're small in square footage, feel larger. You can gain a lot of flexibility in this plan, just as you could in the last plan. As you can see, that front bedroom that's just to the left of the foyer has optional French doors. This means it could easily be converted to a den or home office or TV area. Now you get even more flexibility here by the fact that that shared bathroom can be moved more towards the right, towards the utility area, and become a second master suite bathroom, and that whole area can then become master suite number 2 in this unit. And that balcony is very well located. Even though it's not really large in size, its location between the breakfast room, dining room, and living room provide additional square footage for each of those rooms.
Speaking of outdoor spaces, aren't you tempted to minimize or even eliminate them on a small lot or footprint to make the floor plan as large as possible?
On the contrary, Jeff. Outdoor spaces are the real hot button and need to be very well designed. Today we have outdoor fireplaces, sunken jacuzzis, trellises, and even outdoor kitchens topping the list as accessories that people want to see in their homes.
Good advice from a proven industry expert, especially in today's housing market. Thanks, Sandy.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching Build TV. Tune in next time for more ideas to help your business. For Build TV, I'm Jeff Lancashire.